Lenny! Lemmy! Is that you, Lemmy?
No, it's never Lenny.
Warning, you are about to watch a video that may contain spoilers, so be wary about watching this video clip. If you are okay to proceed, then enjoy.
You sound like a robot.
If you are okay to proceed, enjoy. Beep boop, beep beep boop. Hello, I am My Creative. I'm here with my buddy Tony, and we are here to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 and each other's experiences with the honor system. So what we did is I chose the good path, so I try to be as good as possible to everyone, and he chose the bad path where he,
Murders people.
and robs them. And we want to see the differences in the experiences of each other's gameplay and the journals and different little touches that come along. So, that is now. First, let's talk about the beer real quick. This is kind of an informal little podcast, but we're going to talk about...
I don't know if you can see it.
Alright, so what is the beer?
It's from Bottle Logic. It's the Herodic Ale for Diablo 3, which I've had for a while.
Okay.
But we just opened it.
It's a... What is it?
I think it's a barrel-aged Imperial Red.
Ooh, Imperial Red.
Yeah. So
Smells good.
It's pretty good. I've already had a couple sips.
Nice. Cheers. Ooh, that is good.
Yeah.
That's really kind of has a sweetness to it.
Yeah, it's got vanilla, caramel, and lots of bourbon, apparently.
What is the alcohol content?
This one, I think, is like 9. Oh, no, it's 12 and a half.
12 and a half.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for the beer. Let's get on with a little discussion that we want to talk about.
All right.
So what are some of your experiences? First, let's say, what do you like about the game? We'll go into like kind of our thoughts about what we liked about it.
So I feel like it's a lot more immersive than the first one. Well, I guess technically the second one. I didn't really like Red Dead Revolver. Red Dead Redemption was pretty good. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Red Dead Redemption 2 is a lot more immersive. There's, was it like hundreds of animals? I don't know the exact count.
Yeah, it's like 159 or something.
Yeah,
ridiculous. And then 30 fish, but
yeah.
That's not even including the horses. There's 19 of those too.
Yeah.
So there's hundreds.
And so there's tons of stuff to do. Like on the Red Dead Redemption, you could go and hunt, and there weren't that many species of animals that you could find. But this one, I mean, even just traveling in between missions, you can see like, I feel like 10 or 15 different species of animal.
Yeah. And you have your little binoculars to be able to like...
Yeah.
I like that they have like the study, right? And then that study thing kind of tells you this is how you should kill it to get the best skins kind of thing.
And I don't think that they had anything like that in the first one. And I don't remember there being different grades of pelts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's...
yeah, and so that's pretty interesting too. It's kind of a lot more realistic, like we were talking about earlier, where you don't want to go kill a rabbit with a shotgun.
Right. Because that's not going to get a good pelt. You want to get the small game arrow and take it out, or with the what's that, varmint rifle?
The varmint rifle.
Yeah.
For the small game, and then even for some of the bigger game, you still want to be careful about how you shoot it. You want to, don't just keep shooting it multiple times.
And it was interesting because like I played the beginning of the game twice because of some issues I had with the first game, the first playthrough, and so then like playing that a second time when you're on that little tutorial mission where you learn how to use a bow or whatever, and the first time I totally missed Charles saying, "Get it in the head or the neck. That's the best spot."
Yeah.
Right? And then the second time through, I'm like, oh, wow. And that makes more sense about the condition of the pelts that I've been getting in the first playthrough because I wasn't getting the perfect ones. And it was just like, and when I did get a perfect one, I'd let it sit on my horse because I'm like, oh, I got that. It's part of a little side mission to turn it into the lady or whatever.
Yeah, and then it would rot.
It would rot. And it would lose its condition. It went from a perfect to a good. And I was like, well, crap. you know.
Yeah.
And there's
certain
going
things
off
that you
the
can
horses.
only craft with perfect
Yeah.
pelts.
Yeah.
And a lot of things at camp that you can't get without perfect pelts.
You need a perfect pelt each time.
So that's really good. You know, I feel like the map is way bigger as well.
Okay.
I've been playing it, you know, a few hours every night, and I still haven't even explored the whole map yet.
No, me either.
So,
Me
yeah,
either.
I
It's
feel
huge.
like I've taken time out every night to just, like, go and put my waypoint somewhere that I haven't discovered and just ride to it to see what else is out there.
Are you doing the auto ride?
I have
I really
sometimes,
like that
but
feature.
I like going off the roads.
Oh,
So I
okay.
feel like you can find, like, small little random towns or
Yeah,
homesteads
that's
and stuff.
true. That is definitely true.
So
Like if you know you're going, then hitting the waypoint and just doing auto horse.
right.
That
Yeah.
works. But I mean,
If
if
you're
you
going-
just want to explore, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
If I go to, like, if I need to go buy something at the general store, or, you know, I feel like going to the barber or something like that, or the gunsmith, then I'll just set the waypoint and let it autopilot. But if I'm exploring, I'll just, you know, go off the path and everything.
Yeah. I find it annoying sometimes where the waypoint is like, if you go as the crows flies, you know, you're not, you got to be like doing this weird L because that's how the roads work.
Yeah.
You know, and so I ended up just not even going on the roads, just going up and over the little hills.
Yeah.
Cutting through all the grasslands to get to the waypoint a lot
Yeah.
faster.
And sometimes it's way faster. And the only thing I don't like about going off the path, though, is, like, if you get into the wooded areas, your horse gets injured a lot more in this than it did in the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, there's some part, I can't remember where exactly it is. I want to say it's by where the two, like, feuding families are.
Okay.
Somewhere in that area. Where there was just, like, knee-high brick walls that you can't really see.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was kind of going full speed through the area, and my horse hit the wall, and, you know,
Yeah.
Arthur goes flying off the horse.
Right. Horse
So.
gets hurt too. I've had that happen too, and that's one of the things I'm annoyed about, like game mechanic wise, is that I literally have a video, because I saved it because I was like, this is ridiculous, of me riding. I'm going pretty much full speed on the horse on a shore of the lake.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and there was a rock, and there was a tree, and there was more than enough space to have the horse run between it. The horse clipped to the tree, and I ran into the tree. But it wasn't like, because the horse has like a pivot point where if Arthur moves the horse, like it moves its head, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll move from the head over, and the butt kind of stays the same, and then it rides into that area. Whereas this whole thing, the horse just went zzz, like it was like a mechanic type of thing. Where
Well, I know once you bond enough with the horse, that's part of the bonding, is you can make it like sidestep. So I don't know if maybe you were already bonded all the way and it just.
Oh, I am bonded all the way, but I didn't touch any buttons. I was just letting it full
okay.
speed, and because you have to hit R1 and square to make it do that sidestep thing. I wasn't pressing any of that at all. I just was like, oh, just keep running. You know, run between the rock and the tree, and it just went clip, smash into the tree, and I'm like, what the fuck? That was bullshit.
Yeah.
So I saved the video because I was like, I want to show someone because this is so stupid. There's a few things like, okay, so I guess we can go into that.
Yeah.
There's a few things
A couple glitches and stuff
that you don't like, you may not like. So what are some things that you've come across that you are like, this is annoying, or like, why?
Yeah. Well, I haven't really had a whole lot of annoying things. I've had a few glitches come up. One of them was on the first mission. I think it was the first mission when you robbed the train. I couldn't get the rifle off the horse. I think I was talking to you about that, and like I kept going back to the horse. I would get on it, get off it, try to get the gun back out, and like no matter what I did, I couldn't do it. And luckily, I had a save point that was right before that mission.
Mm-hmm.
And when I restarted it, I had no problems. But there was something else minor, and I can't remember what it was. But it was another small glitch like that it was really just inconvenient that I had to restart from the mission before. But you had the issue with the trinket.
Yeah. There's a mission where you're able to, once you complete the side mission, you're able to obtain a trinket by taking it into a fence. I don't want to go into details because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it's something that happens in the game where you don't face that thing or that part of the mission ever again. Like, you can't, and then it's not replayable either.
Right.
Because I tried replaying it, and because it's a side mission, it's not one of those replayable things. And like you obtain a little item, and then you're able to take that item in to be crafted as a trinket. And it said it was in my satchel. It even had like the top left notification saying, oh, this is now something that you can take into the fence to craft a trinket.
Mm-hmm.
And I go in to the fence, and there's no item in there that I had in my satchel a moment ago, and I'm like, what the hell? And unfortunately, I didn't save nearly as much as you were doing. I do now. I do almost like I have like an alarm clock, and I just set, like every 25 minutes I'll set an alarm.
I kind of got in the habit of that with Red Dead Redemption.
Right? Yeah,
because there would be some missions that it would take me, a couple tries to get through. So I just got into the habit of saving like before and after every mission, just so I didn't have that issue.
Yeah.
So
my save file was like 3 hours back, and there was so much content that I had already gone through in the 3 hours that I like didn't want to do it all over again.
Yeah.
Just so I can get this like little trinket, So that was upsetting. That's the reason I started the whole new game.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I didn't want to miss out on something like that. But at the same time, I didn't want to like. I guess that does sound kind of stupid because instead of just going 3 hours back and playing all that stuff over, I decided to play the whole game over.
But it gives you the option to, redo the missions to get the better like medals or whatever. You get like the bronze or silver for each mission.
Those are for the main missions, though, not for the side missions.
Right.
So I wasn't able to do that at all for the side missions. For that one, that would have been cool to go back and be like, oh yeah, okay. Now I could just try doing it again and seeing if I get that item back in my purse. But that's another thing I wanted to bring up that I have a gripe with, because with Red Dead Redemption 1, the missions to get the medals, they kind of stacked.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was 4 things you had to do, and you only did 2 out of the 4, and you go and replay that checkpoint doesn't go away.
Yeah.
You just have to worry about focusing on those one or two other things that you need to complete. Whereas this one, if you go back, you have to do all 4 in the one playthrough. You know what I mean? And it just they decided to change that for this game only because GTA 5 doesn't have that.
Yeah.
They have the old system too.
Yeah, I feel like that's just playing more into like the realism.
I guess, but at the same time, it's like.
But then you also brought up the thing earlier about the horses, where you can't shoot your own horse on accident anymore.
Right.
Which used to happen all the time in Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, and so a lot of people I've seen on the forums, they're saying like they really wish or hope that Rockstar does a patch where they're able to stack those medals, and you really just focus on the either accuracy or whatever. You know what I mean? Once you get a checkbox, you get the checkbox. You just complete the mission.
Yeah.
And then you'll eventually get to gold because you'll eventually get to those things.
Right.
Because they have that on everything else, like I said, and it's just kind of like tedious because you got to get 70 gold medals just to get that trophy.
And it's
a nice little gold shiny trophy.
It can be really obnoxious trying to get the full trophy on every mission.
Yeah, the full trophy on every mission, and a lot of the missions are like 80% accuracy, and then complete the mission in 4 minutes or something ridiculous, and then you're sitting there going, oh, okay, well, there's about 50 guys that are coming my way, and I have to get 80% accuracy on all these people, and at the same time, it's like that snow one, where you go take out the gang in the very, very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
That's like an 80% accuracy one. There's also a thing where you have to do Deadeye and kill 3 bad guys in one Deadeye.
Yeah.
And your Deadeye right in that moment is super
really low.
Right,
so
really low. So it's like you really have to make sure you're like getting everything.
Yeah.
And then also it says complete it in 12 minutes. The whole thing.
The whole mission.
The whole mission in 12 minutes at once. So it's like and I think there's one more on top of that. There's like 4 things you have to do, and that's like I tried replaying it a few times, and I'm just like, this is
especially if you're not familiar with like the franchise. That would be a really hard thing to do, like right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But it is nice that it gives you the option to replay them. But
Right.
Having it be right off the bat like that, it just kind of. I feel like the missions don't start easy and then like gradually get harder.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like thrown right into it.
You're thrown right into it. Yeah. I mean that's sets up the whole realism thing, which is okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a little gripe I guess I have.
Well, then I heard another thing with the mission where you first go to town and like take the girls with you to town in the wagon.
Yeah.
You heard about that one?
Mm-hmm.
Where apparently in that mission, if you have to restart it, and if you do restart from checkpoint instead of restart mission.
Oh, there's that glitch, right?
Yeah, that John and his whole family like disappear from the camp, and they only reappear when they have a mission for you or a task. So, and I don't think Rockstar
I think that happened to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the first playthrough, because I remember trying to find, Abigail and little Jack, because I'm like, we're in a camp all together, so where's the girl and maybe John was sent out on a mission, so that's fine, but where's Abigail and where's little Jack?
Yeah.
And they didn't pop up until later on whenever you go and take Jack fishing, and you're like,
yeah,
where were they the whole time?
And I think they're gone in between that too. Have you noticed them back since you've gone fishing or no?
No, they're not back.
So yeah, you may be having that. But from what I read, and I don't know the end of the story yet because I'm not anywhere near finished with it.
Yeah, I'm still in chapter 3.
But apparently they come back in one of the later chapters with that glitch.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's just at where you have the issue at the second camp only, I'm guessing. Or they won't come back.
I don't know. Another thing that grinds my gears is not being able to reverse in a horse.
Yeah.
Or
I think you used to be able to do that.
Not only reverse in a horse, but reverse on the stagecoach.
Yeah.
That 2 horses are because I did the lumber mission that we were just talking about, and I literally, there was like a sharp turn and I didn't make it, and so I ended up going up into the trees, and so I was like, oh, I'll just reverse, and they just kept going forward, trying to like go up and around, and then both horses ended up falling off the stagecoach like connections, and they ran off. And so I was sitting there going, what the hell? And I had to like reload my save just so I can go transport this lumber and everything. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, you should be able to like be like, oh, put it in reverse and let the horses like walk backwards, because horses can do that. You know what I mean?
I think on the first one you were able to back your horse up, or at least back the stagecoaches up on the first one.
Yeah. I mean, all it is should just be another button prompt.
Yeah.
You just press that to have it reverse. There. And I looked into like the help menu to see if they have anything about reversing horses, and there's nothing. So
yeah, I haven't had the issue really. I haven't really taken too many stagecoaches, so I've only done the ones that are required through the mission, and I didn't do the lumber one.
Right.
That's another thing we were talking about. Is it's kind of cool that it gives you options on the side missions to have different paths, because we were talking about the one outside of Valentine, I think it is, right? Mm-hmm. Where the guy's building his house, and I went the option of I didn't get him lumber, and if you go back to him later, you can pay him, or you can loan him $100, and then he's like, oh, I'll pay you back with interest, but you decided to get him lumber.
Mm-hmm.
And so the storyline for that went kind of different, which is pretty cool for it being a side quest.
Yeah.
That they went into that much detail.
Yeah. Because I couldn't get the lumber right away. I had to like help that dude at the lumber company, the foreman, help him get whatever, and then like 2 game days later, I was able to come back and get the lumber.
Yeah.
And he then, like, because he helped me, I'm gonna give it to you on a discount. You know what I mean? So you spent $100, I spent $75 so far. And
have you gone back to him and got like the reward back?
I haven't yet, but I will. And I'll try to see like how much he gives back.
Yeah, because I got $150 back from loaning him the money. Because I was going to loan him the money, and if he didn't pay me, since I was doing like the dishonorable character, I was going to go back and just rob him.
Right.
And see what I would get back.
Yes. Okay, so on that note, let's go into our playstyles on how we did the good and bad honor. what did you find that being that dishonorable, like, protagonist, what did you find in the world, or at least like when you're walking around or whatever, like what was different in the sense of, or what occurred, you know what I mean, like that made you dishonorable, like, you know what I mean?
So it was a lot of things I noticed like right away is like, first of all, when you're first starting out, it's really hard to be dishonorable if you're trying to build up your camp.
Oh, right.
Because the more you build up your camp with all the upgrades, you become more honorable. And then whatever you try to do is just offsetting that, so you're pretty much staying neutral for the first part of the game. But once I got past, like, I got all the upgrades, upgraded the camp, everything, then I noticed that people in town would start treating you differently. Like, you'd be just walking into town or riding the horse into town, and someone would make a comment as you ride by or walk by saying, like, oh, we don't want any trouble, or not you again, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so people seem to, like, fear you a little bit more. Other things I've read that I haven't really paid attention to, but the prices in the stores are apparently lower or higher when you're dishonorable.
I don't know if it's higher or, but I know that when you loot enemies, you get more loot from them if you're more dishonorable.
Okay.
So if you're honorable, you can get up to 50% off
At the stores.
at the stores. Right now, I'm only 25% off because I'm hitting an honor glitch where it's not letting me go past a certain level and get me into that next. And I don't know if it's just gameplay, like story mission locked, you know what I mean? To stop me from getting past a certain point. And once I do then get past a story point, then I can move up my honor.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't want me to, like, max out my honor in the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
And then I can play however I want.
That probably is what it is. Because, I mean, there's some missions where you have to go and kill people. Like, it's unavoidable. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why you're...
Well, that's the problem. Is, like, I try to be as high and maximum as possible I can be right now in my honor. And if I accidentally steal someone or bump into anyone, that thing goes down far.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I see it on the... Because it pops up whenever you do something good or bad. And then your little face is there, and it just goes... It goes, like, almost an inch on my screen.
Wow.
Down. Like, it just, like, oh, you lost a shit ton of honor, by the way, for bumping into that person in Saint Denis. And you're like, what the hell? Yeah. And you gotta, like, reload. You know what I mean? That's another gripe I had, where if you're standing and staring at someone, they automatically, like, think that
you've got a problem.
You've got a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I went and fished, and I saw a dock where there was two dudes fishing, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go join them. So I go and I start fishing, and I'm catching, and I don't hear any issues or anything like that. Finally, I catch the fish, and that's when I'm able to, like move, Arthur out of the actual fishing mechanic, but back into, like, me just holding it. And then the dudes start punching me because I'm standing close to him for too long, and they're, like, thinking that I'm trying... But so it's like the whole world's revolved around you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would prefer if the realism of it would just be like, why does this guy keep standing next to me? You know what I mean? And it's like, after a while, then it's like, hey, yo, we got a problem?
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, diffuse. And they're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you pull out your fishing rod, and then the NPC could be like, oh, he just wants to fish near us, too. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like Rockstar in general, though, was kind of like that, because I know a lot of Grand Theft Auto games where, like, if you bump into somebody, they'll either just run away from you or they'll start fighting you.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like a Rockstar mechanic.
I know, and it's overall, I get that, but they're trying to go for the realism. Right. And then you're sitting here going, well, that's not realistic at all.
Yeah.
Like, if I were to stand in the marketplace around here, people aren't going to turn around and be like, ah! And run off because I'm standing too close to them.
Especially if you're playing as an honorable character.
Yeah, like, exactly. Yeah. So that was just kind of like, really, this is kind of strange. You know what I mean? Like, I get it because it is a video game. So they are going to react to you because you are the one who is controlling that game. So it's like, nothing's happening outside of your draw distance. It's not until you get there that things are like, okay, now we're going to interact with you. and have like these close encounters that occur. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there was a lady who I'm walking in Saint Denis, going to the Trapper, and it's like a black market area where there's a crap ton of people, and I'm walking slowly to get around because if you bump into them, you get an automatic bounty. And so I'm walking slowly, but the lady's going the same way I'm going, but she's just a few steps ahead of me. And she turns around, she's like, "Would you stop following me?" And I'm like, diffused, like, "Oh, sorry, ma'am, just trying to walk by."
Yeah.
And then, like, 5 seconds later, she was just like, "Ah!" and ran off, thinking that, like, I'm trying to go after her. And then I'm right there in front of the Trapper, so then I go and sell my furs and then walk away. But it was just like, and then everyone turns around and stares at me like I'm like the bad guy, and I'm just walking through town. You know what I mean?
I've noticed that on the roads too. The roads are so narrow that if your horse bumps into somebody, then somebody automatically either will run away or try to start fighting you.
Yeah,
Or, like,
and if they're the ones that pull the gun, I think there should be a mechanic. If they're the ones that pull the gun on you and decide to start shooting you, you have every right, because back in the 1800s, you had every right to then shoot back at them, and you wouldn't get a bounty on your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's you wouldn't get in trouble for that because they're the ones that shot at you first. It's just self-defense. But that doesn't happen in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just, there's a lot of little things like that do kind of like pull you out. But then, you know, just, I feel like the graphics are really good too, to where...
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially if you go into like first person and just like look around at the scenery. Like I've gone just and ridden on top of like a mountain or a ledge or something.
Oh, the stars, right? And just sitting there and just gazing up at the stars. I remember just sitting there and just first person, change it and watch the stars and then I get hit by an elk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
There was actually that haunted town that I can't remember the name of it. It's like
a haunted town. That's cool.
Yeah. It's like Pleasantville or something like that. But you go and like when you first walk into the town, it's an abandoned town. There's like a little graveyard and stuff. But the Arthur automatically pulls out his journal and looks down at it, and then when you exit the journal, a deer runs over you.
Oh really?
Yeah. Like it happened like 3 times in a row to me. Because I thought it was kind of weird, so I went back and I had saved right before that because I had a mission.
Yeah.
But it happened every time. Like a deer runs over you as soon as you put the journal away.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So.
I wonder if that's like a glitch or a little bug, or if that's just
I don't know if it's supposed to be part
meant to
of
be
the town,
scary.
or,
Because it's kind of a haunted town, so it's meant to be like a fright, you know? Because then, I'm sure because you're saying it's haunted, I'm sure there's something in it that actually makes it haunted.
Yeah.
And so it's like it sets you up to be that like, oh, it's scary each time type of thing.
And that is something else that's kind of cool, is like a lot of these little buildings have interactions with them that like, it's not that it detracts from the story, but it doesn't really go with the storyline. Like there was one building I went into where it looks like they were like practicing witchcraft or something. And you walk in and it's just like a bunch of skeletons in the bed. Mm-hmm. And you go in and like a green light starts shining inside the building and stuff. And like weird music starts playing. So, I don't know, have you been in that building yet?
No.
I can't remember where it was, but it was a really weird like interaction. I went in to just go see if there was loot.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure we're gonna find that when you start actually going and exploring.
Yeah. You're
gonna find the little touches that you know, because it's thousands of people that have made this.
Yeah.
You'll find something that's be like, oh, let's do like a you know, haunted little area. Let's do, you know, aliens. And let's do like things that aren't going to be realistic, but like it's still fun, and it's still because we're Rockstar, we're able to kind of put these in here and have fun with the game type of thing as well. Well, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Without spoiling anything, leave some comments down below and tell us what you like. If there are spoilers, make sure you are identifying that and letting the people know that, you know, something is going to possibly get spoiled in the next paragraph. Or you can personally reach out to myself and let me know what you thought, and you know, little things that you think might be a spoiler. You can just reach out and tell me your thoughts on everything. And if you haven't played it, go grab it. You know.
Yes, it's definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it. You know, there's a lot of good games out there. So if you're working on like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, then complete that one first before you even try working on this one.
Or just go buy this one and play this.
Because the minute you put this one in, you're gonna be like, I don't want to go into any other ones. Like I haven't finished Tomb Raider. I'm literally on the last mission where it's like you do this mission and this is the last of it. You're not going to be able to save. You're not going to be able to do anything. Like you're in the roller coaster for the next hour type of thing on this last like mission. And I'm like, okay, cool. But then Red Dead came out like right after that, and I'm like, I haven't gotten back into that game at all.
And you won't for another week or 2 weeks or a month.
Probably not even until next year. And then the problem is Kingdom Hearts comes out next year in like January. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, so I have plenty of time to play this game.
You have to put it in for the 2 hours just to finish it.
Right? I know. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think. If you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and like and check out the other podcasts. We do weekly podcasts on Sundays. So check out the other videos and let us know what you think. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Arthur Morgan kills everybody. I don't know. I'm just saying that.
Oh, hold on before you get it. Go ahead and sit down. We'll kind of hide your it's just kind of.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
What am I doing?